Now let's move on to the next feature. So while using Vlookup or Hlookup, one of the common things is that when you're looking up a value and it is not present in the lookup table, then it shows NA. So to display an error, it shows #NA. Now we often do not want to see #NA in our table. So to handle that, we had to use a separate formula. Sometimes we used if error, or sometimes we had to do more processing on that column. So to get rid of that, in Xlookup, the fourth parameter solves that problem very easily. So let me show you how. For example, here, suppose there is a serial number of 2000 and in our data, there is no such serial number. The last serial number that we have is 1338. Now if I apply the Xlookup formula, this is the value. This is the lookup array, and here's the CTC. Now the fourth parameter is if not found. If that lookup value is not found in lookup array, then what has to be shown here? So in double quotation marks, I'm writing not found. And I'm closing the bracket here. Hit enter. And you can see that instead of showing #NA, it is showing me not found. If I enter some value which is present, you will get the CTC value. But if that serial number is not present, in that case, it will not show error, it will show not found value. So the extra processing that we had to do to handle these #NA errors, that need not be done now. We can straight away use this fourth parameter, which can replace the NA values using the string that we provide. Now, in the next example, I want to show you that Xlookup can not only replace Vlookup, it can also replace Hlookup. Basically, the idea is when we are looking up in an array, the array need not be vertical, it can be horizontal also. So if I'm going to find out the CTC of this serial number, I can write Xlookup. This is the lookup value, and this time I'm going to select the lookup array in horizontal direction. So the lookup array and the return array need not be in vertical direction only, it can be in horizontal direction also. So this time serial number is in horizontal direction, comma, the returned array is also going to be horizontal. And I close the bracket here, hit enter, and you can see that for second serial number, I'm getting the CTC value. So Xlookup can easily replace Hlookup also. The only difference is instead of selecting the array vertically, you will be selecting the array horizontally. Moving on to the next feature. Now this feature is based on the match mode. So the fifth parameter of Xlookup is matching mode. And if you remember in Vlookup also, there were two options. One was approximate match and the other was exact match. And we used to enter 0 when we wanted to do exact match. So by default in Vlookup, approximate matching is done. If you do not enter the value of the matching parameter, by default Vlookup will be doing approximate match. But in business scenarios, most of the time we are doing exact match, and that is fixed in Xlookup. So by default, Xlookup does exact match. Till now, we have not been providing the value of the fifth parameter, which is matching mode. So by default, it was doing exact match. Now I'm going to show you an example where we are not going to do exact match. We will be using refined approximate matches. So there are better options of doing approximate match in Xlookup, and I'll show you those options now. So the scenario here is we had this data of employees and the company is planning to give New Year bonus to these employees based on their experience in the company. So let's look at the first table only right now. In this table, if you have an experience of 0 to 11 months, the bonus is 1%. If you have experience of 12 to 23 months, your bonus is 2.5%. Then from 24 to 35 months, your bonus is 5%, and so on. So if this is what is decided by the company, now take the example of this first employee. The value here is 19. We want to find which category this person belongs to. We want to find the largest experience number which is less than 19. So there are two numbers less than 19, 0 and 12, and we want to find the largest of these two, that is 12 months. Basically, this person belongs to the category of 12 to 23 months. That is why this person should get a bonus of 2.5%. So this is what we want to achieve. Corresponding to the months, which is not exactly written in the lookup table, we want to do this approximate matching. We want to find the largest number which is less than or equal to this value. When we find that number, we want to get the corresponding bonus value. To do that, let's write Xlookup. This is the lookup value, comma. This is my lookup array, comma. This is the return array, comma. Now, if not found, if the value is not found, what should be shown? Right now, I do not want to enter this parameter, so I'll just put another comma. So when we do this, that is when we do not mention any parameter, the default value of that parameter is shown, and for this particular parameter, the default is #NA only. Now we are at the fifth parameter, which is match mode. Now you can see there are four options. One is exact match. One is exact match or next smaller item. Then is exact match or next larger item. Then we have wildcard character match. In this scenario, we want either the exact match, either the experience is 19 months, or the next smaller item. That is, next smaller is 12. So this is what we want to do. Either double click on it or enter -1. So I'm double clicking on this. -1 is entered here. I'm not entering the sixth parameter, which is search mode. We will see that later. Closing the brackets here and hitting enter. You can see that it has done that approximate match. 19 belongs to this category, 12 to 23 months. And corresponding to that, we are getting a bonus of 2.5%. If I want to extend this to other cells, I'll have to fix the cell reference here, because this array stays the same for other cells also. So selecting this value and hitting F4 adds the dollar values. Similarly for this matching array also, F4, enter. Now I can double click on this bottom right corner to get all the values. So you can check this person who is having 56 months of experience belongs to this category, 48 to 59, and correspondingly the bonus is 10%. Now if you have other situation, which means take this table, here I am given that up to an experience of 12 months, the value is 2.5%. Then from 13 to 24, so these are the upper limits given to me. Previously, I had the lower limits given to me. If I have the upper limits with me, then I will use the other match mode, which will give me the exact value or the next larger value. So In this case, this 19 months will fall in this category, that is experience up to 24 months. The corresponding bonus is going to be 5%. So here, while using Xlookup, select this value. This is the lookup array. Press F4, comma, matching array. Press F4, comma, and press a comma again. So I'm at the 5th parameter. This time I want exact match or the next larger item. So I'm entering 1 here and then closing the brackets. Press enter and you can see I'm getting 5%. We have these two options for approximate match. Either we can find exact number and the next lowest, or the exact number and the next larger value. So corresponding to 19, we are getting 5% here because this is the upper limit of experience. So you can check for any other value. For 56 months, I'm getting 12.5%. We have 999 here because we wanted to put one upper limit value, which is definitely going to be more than any actual experience months value. So in earlier functions, that is Vlookup and Hlookup, we only had two options, approximate match or exact match. And by default, it was doing approximate match. Xlookup, on the other hand, by default does exact match, and we can use approximate match in two ways, either to find exact or lower value or to find exact or higher value.